Yes or wrong? Yeah, yes or no? Yes. Okay. So IAM is global or regional? IAM is global. So do you need to pay for IAM, or is it IAM is free? IAM is free. Okay. How many types of users or accounts are there too? What are those? Root and IAM user. Right. Root and IAM user. Nice. And which account has full permissions? Root. And IAM account has limited permissions. Nice. Okay. And do you remember what is okay, by the way, for the IAM users, we'll attach the permissions, right? Policies. Can we attach and detach the policies anytime? Yes. Nice. And is it recommended to log in with your root account for all your daily activities work? No. Which one is recommended? IAM user. Nice. And do you remember what is MFA? Multi-factor authentication. Two steps of authentication, right? MFA is on account level or user level?
User level.
User level. So that meaning root user should also have MFA assigned, and then IAM user also should have MFA assigned. Yes? Yes. And every individual IAM user should have also MFA assigned. Yes. How many ways are there to access AWS? Two. What are those? Console and programmatically. It's console and CLI. Yeah. So how do you log into the console? Using username and password, or email ID and password. And how do you log into the CLI? How do you authenticate to CLI? Using keys. Keys meaning access keys and secret key. Nice. So is it possible to log? Is it okay? Okay, let me ask you a certification question directly here. Guys, let's say for example here, Ujwala, latest message. So Ujwala, okay. So Ujwala, she's an admin, and someone has joined the team, and the new team member has asked, hey, Ujwala, can you give me the access to AWS? And what Ujwala did was, she created access keys, secret access keys and secret key, and gave it to the new team member. And new team member is not able to log into the console. What is the problem? Hmm? Nice. Only 3 answers? That two wrong? No. No. Okay. Few people are right. Yes. Very good. So keys are not intended to CLI, not intended to console. Come on. Yeah. So the thing is here, guys, keys are used to authenticate or log into CLI. So right, CLI. But Ujwala, she has created the access keys and secret keys and given to the team member, and team member is logging to the console using the keys. Did we discuss already that keys are only for CLI? For console, you need to have username and password. This is how the certification questions would be. Okay. Nice. So how many maximum set of keys that you can have per user? Is it recommended to create the keys unnecessarily? No. Whenever is it mandatory to create the keys? No. So if let's say for example, if Pradeep has EC2 permissions, when he log into the CLI using keys, what kind of permission he also has? EC2 only. What kind of permissions that CLI, the console has, the CLI will also have the same permission. And once keys are lost, is it possible to get it back? No. Can you regenerate it? Yes. If you regenerate it, can you get the old keys back? No, you will get a unique keys. You will get a. Is it recommended to create keys for your root account? No. You guys are on fire, yeah? Not even one wrong answer. Good one. Okay. Let me share my screen now. Please continue listening like this only, okay? Good for health. Okay. So, share screen. Okay. Can you please confirm? Can you see my screen? Nice. So we have discussed about this IAM users yesterday, like, IAM user, what kind of things that we can do it for IAM user, right, etc., etc., etc. We have discussed a lot, and today we have even more topics, and that topic today we talk about is IAM groups. What is that? IAM groups, guys. What is in general group? What is group? What do you right? What do you think about the group? What do you get in your mind if you talk about groups? Collection of users or group of people, right? Collection, right? Yes. Now let me give. So you guys are 80 people here, and you're all AWS architects, right? And you are accessing my AWS root account. You are an IAM user. So if I want to give the permissions of, let's say, for example, EC2 permissions to all 80 people, should I go, is it recommended to go for each and every user and attach IAC2 policy, or create a group and then assign it to the group and add all this user to the group? It's better to use the group, right? That's a reason. That's a reason. So if you need to assign the policies, group level, set of people or collection of users at the same time, then that is called IAM group. It's very hard to maintain the permissions individually. So that's the reason you can create a groups team-wise based on your business needs. So you can create a groups and team-wise like DevOps or AWS architects, HR, finance, right, etc., etc. You can create a group and you can move all the IAM users to what you have created to that particular groups. And if you want to give permissions to the IAM user, instead of giving individual permissions or policies to individual IAM user, you can give it to the group level. If you give the policies to the group level, what are the permissions that you have assigned to the group level will be inherited to the IAM users. Make sense? Right? So, yes. So, for example, here we'll go and create IAM users here. I'm listing down the users here who is Jagruti, Babji, Lipsha, Gauss. Okay. So, can you tell me, guys, what kind of permission should we give it to Jagruti? S3. For Babji? EC2. You like EC2, huh? All the time you say EC2. I'll say Lambda now. Right? For Gauss? For Gauss, EBA. Yeah, CloudFront. Okay. We have these users with these policies attached, with these permissions attached. Okay. Now I have written only 4 guys here. Okay, only 4. Now I want to give permissions to everyone. Route 53 permissions, for example. So is it better to go and individually add Route 53 to each and individual user, or create a group? So let's create a group. So let's create a group group name would be DevOps, for example, right? And then you create a group and then add all these users to this group. Attach. Here we call it as attach instead of add, right? So you attach these users to the group, and for the group you give the Route 53 permissions. Make sense? So if you give Route 53 permissions, each and every individual will have this Route 53 permissions or policies attached. Make sense? This is the concept of groups. Guys, can you create admin group also? Possible? I can create another group called admin, and here I'll have again IAM users. IAM users, let's say Piyush, Ujjwala, Subhakar. Right? So these guys, I can give admin permissions to multiple IAM users. Na? It's up to me. It's up to me. Right? So I can add all these people to this admin group. Right? And then for that admin group, I'll give a permission called admin permissions. I'll give admin policy. I'll give admin policy attached. If I give admin policy attached, whoever is attached, whoever the user is added to the admin group, now everyone will become admins for the entire account. You understand? Sir, here Vandana, you can put it in public. No need to send private to me, so that everyone can understand the question also. Sir, here who still create groups? Guys, who are the one who can create groups? Now, for example here. Guys, example here. Root use. Okay. So, yeah. Can you tell me here, Jagruti can create IAM users? Yes or no? With this, whatever you see here, can you tell me Jagruti can create IAM users? No. Gauss can create IAM users? No. Ujjwala can create IAM users? Yes. You got that? Ujjwala, Piyush, Subhakar, all these guys, simple. Those who have permissions to create, those who have permissions for IAM can create anything. They can create users, they can delete users, they can create groups, they can delete groups. It's up to the policies to whom you have attached to the IAM user. Mostly the admin guys will be doing it. Or those whoever has the permissions for IAM, they will be doing it. Make sense, guys? Nice. So do you agree this? And again, guys, you created a group called DevOps. Can you create another subgroup called DevOps 1, DevOps 2 and all? Does it make any sense? No. You cannot create group under group. No subgroups here. You create a group, that's all. And that's all. And add the users to the group. Yes. No subgroups concepts here. And also, guys, for each and every user, yeah, nested groups are not possible. Nice, like WhatsApp group. Yeah. So, guys, here, Jagruti, Babji, Lipsha, Gauss, all these guys, how many policies that they have attached now at the moment? 2 policies are there. Right? 2 policies are there. Remember, for each IAM user, maximum 10 policies you can attach. How many policies you can attach, guys? Maximum 10. Even for the groups also, how many policies that you can attach per group? 10. Can you tell me, guys, is it possible to attach and detach the policies anytime to the IAM user or to the groups? Yes. Anytime I can go in. If you want to remove EC2 permissions to Babji, go and patak, remove it. And if I want Piyush to get out of admin, I'll just go and detach it. That's all. And again, one more question. I'll write all these things. Don't worry. One more thing is, if Jagruti is attached to DevOps group, Jagruti has his individual permissions, like S3. When, I don't know, she or he, when Jagruti added to the DevOps group, his individual permissions will be lost? Yeah, sorry. Her individual permissions will be lost, guys? S3 will be lost? No. S3 will not be lost. Individual permissions will remain same. Additionally, group level permissions will be inherited. Keep that in mind. Okay, now it's time to write. We have discussed a lot of things. Let me put all those good things here. What is an IAM group? What is an IAM group? Can we call it as collection of IAM users? Collection of IAM users is called IAM group. And groups under groups are not possible. That meaning nested groups are not possible. Next. So, is it possible to attach? Not is it? You have already know. It is possible. It is possible to attach multiple policies, guys. Multiple policies to IAM user. It is possible to attach multiple policies to the IAM users and groups also. How many maximum policies that you can attach? Thus. Okay, and you can attach and detach the policies anytime. You can attach and detach policies to the IAM users and groups anytime. Okay. So, if you attach any user, any IAM user to the IAM group, his or her individual permissions remains same and the new permissions will be inherited to the IAM users. Agree? Oh, and one more thing here. See, is it possible to assign keys to the group? Keys are user specific. Keys are not shared. So guys, so you cannot assign or create keys to the groups. No, you cannot do that. So all in all, groups meaning here in short form. So IAM groups are used to assign policies to the bunch of IAM user. Acha, sorry. Thanks. Bunch of IAM users at the same time. Nice. And keys are only for IAM users, not for the groups. One question for you guys. One IAM user can be attached to multiple groups. One IAM user can be in multiple groups. Definitely possible. Like, Jagruti, she can be in DevOps. Jagruti can be in some other HR. Like, depends. Like, one IAM user can be attached to multiple groups at the same time. Possible. An IAM user can be attached to multiple groups at the same time. Make sense, guys? Is this clear till here, everyone? Nice. Okay. So now let's talk about, we were talking about policies and all, right? Policies. Guys, here policies. S3 is a policy. Route 53 is type of policy. Guys, these are services only, but we are talking about the permissions here for IAM users, right? So policies are nothing but, guys, what is permissions in general? Permissions meaning what? Set of rules, na? Permissions meaning rules, right? Yes. So we'll create a policy. Policy meaning is a document only, right? Policies meaning document only. So policies meaning it's a policy document, right? And this policy documents contains permissions. Policy document contain permissions. And you know what? In simple terms, policies contains permissions. Do you agree? Right? Policies contain simply permissions. And super certification question here is, guys, these permissions or policies are written in JSON format. Certification question, guys. So your policies are written in which format? IAM policies, guys. IAM policies are written in which format? JSON format. JSON format. There's a question on top. Just a second, it's going up. Okay. Manidip. If a person is attached to multiple groups and it should not exceed 10 policies, what if a person has 15 policies? What will okay. So the thing is, I'll just wait for 10 minutes, you'll understand. So we have a concept called different types of policies, then there we'll discuss about this. Okay, so guys, here policies are written in JSON format, right? It's not a JSON is a it's not a script. It's not a script, guys. Those who are developers, what is the full form of JSON? It's not a script. It's just a what is that? Yeah, what's the full form of JSON? Right, JSON. Yeah, it's a key value pair only. Yeah. So JavaScript object notation. Yeah, JavaScript object notation. Yeah, that one. But it's a simply key value pair, guys. It's simply, you can think of key value pair. But I let me tell you good news for you here. Right. Let me tell you one thing. So policies, this S3 policy and Route 53 policies, these are all the policies. Policies contain permissions, and those permissions are written in JSON format. So JSON format is a key value pair. Yeah, it's a key value pair. But the thing is here, before going to the JSON, let me give one thing here. We have something called, there are two types of policies. How many types of policies? Two types of policies. One is called managed policy, and another one we call it as inline policy. Managed policy and inline policy. There are two types of policies, guys. Managed policy and inline policy. What is this managed policy? Managed policy meaning, yes, we will create an IAM user called Babji, and we are attaching EC2 permissions and Route 53 policies to the Babji. That meaning Route 53 policy, EC2 policy should be there already in the console. Yes or no? They should be ready-madely available, right? It should be ready-madely available, right? So whatever the policies which are ready-madely available, who made that available? AWS, right? So guys, there are some policies which are created and managed by AWS. Those are called managed policy. Those are called managed policy. So you'll have a policy like this. Guys, AWS will give you, AWS will give you like ST full permissions or ST read only permissions or ST full infra permissions. It is S3 full access, S3 read only access. AWS will give you only these two type of access, either full access, either read only access. Now, for example, guys, in S3 we create a buckets, na? So if you want to put the data, everyone will have their own buckets, right? And I want to have such a way that, like say, Malik bucket should be accessed by Malik only, and Malik's bucket should not be accessed by me. If you give full permissions, will I get that kind of requirement? If I attach full permissions, will I get that kind of requirement? No. Every bucket I will be accessing if I give full access. Okay. If I give S3 read only access, will it fulfill my requirement? No. I can still able to read everything, all the buckets. But AWS will give you only this type of, because how does AWS know what kind of permissions or what kind of customized permissions that you need? AWS will give you only kind of full permissions, read only permissions. That's all. But if you need to customize, policy, you can go and create your own policy. So created and managed by customer is called inline policy. It's called inline policy. Or in another name, we call it as customer managed policy. Guys, understood this? Inline. What is managed policy? Managed policy meaning which are created and managed by AWS. Inline policy meaning what? Which are created and managed by customer. You understand? Because AWS will give you overall permissions, either full access or read only access. That's all. But if you need to go and have resource level permissions, guys, what is that? Resource level permissions. That meaning you have one EC2 instance. Only Babji has to go and start it, and only Babji will go and stop it. No other people will have permissions. This kind of customized permissions will be given ready-madely by AWS. Tell me yes or no? No. Why come yes? No. AWS will not give you ready-made permissions like this. AWS will give either EC2 full permissions or EC2 read-only permissions. That's all. But if you need to have customized permissions, then we need to go and create our own policy. And those policies are created and written in which format? JSON format. And don't think that, I still remember a few years back, I was writing, so many big policies. But AWS has came up with something that Babji and Piyush, Syed, these guys will say, example, like, sir, do I need to learn JSON? Do I need to learn the JSON? Who is the trainer, sir? Where do I attend, etc., etc. Guys, you don't need to learn the JSON here. So AWS has something called Visual Editor or Policy Generator. You don't need to learn it, guys. Using Visual Editor, you just select the checkboxes. What kind of permissions do you need? Create user, delete user, create group, create policy. You have all the parameters basically. You select, you will have a GUI, you select the checkboxes, and automatically on the side by side, JSON policy will be automatically generating the code. Right? Yeah. Automatically it generates the code. So you don't need to even write it, but it's not a rocket science. It is very easy. You can, by seeing it, you can easily understand and you can easily modify also. Okay? You don't need to learn. I'll teach you. Don't expect I'll be teaching entire JSON, okay? I'll be teaching you how the policies will look like. Make sense, guys? Okay, na? Right. So here we have two types of permissions. User-based permissions, and then another one is resource level permissions. User-based permissions and resource level permissions. Guys, user-based permissions meaning overall permissions like EC2 full access, S3 full access, overall you're giving it. See, RDS read-only access. Like this, overall you're giving it. Overall you're giving it. This is user-based permissions. Resource level permissions meaning, guys, in this EC2, instead of giving EC2 full access, you can create your own permissions like inline policies. You can create your own permissions and resource level permissions. What is resource meaning here? Everything in AWS is a resource only, right? EC2 is a resource, S3 is a resource, one file is a resource, one object is a resource, one database is a resource, everything, ELB is a resource, everything is a resource. And if you see that Hari, we have Hari here, right? Hari should have the permissions to go only to create, only to access that particular bucket, only to start that EC2 instance, only to delete that EC2 instance, and nothing else he should be having access. So resource level permissions, I can give it. So resource meaning granular level or deeper. If you need to have or customized permissions, customize. So if you want to do like this, that is called resource level permissions. One question for you here. Can you tell me in user-based permissions, managed policy will come or inline policy will come under user-based permissions? Wow. Superb. Managed. And how about this here? Resource level permissions meaning inline. Make sense? Nice. So guys, here you can think that in you can think sir, in JSON format, sir, how do I identify my EC2 instance? How do I identify my ELB? How do I identify my bucket? How do I identify a resource? Basically, to identify a resource, for every resource we have AWS will assign something called ARN. What is that? ARN. Amazon resource name. Pakka certification question. What is the full form? Amazon resource name. ARN. ARN. So many times people will put the wrong answers here. You will habituated with something called Amazon resource number. It is not number, it is name. What is that? Amazon resource name, not number. Right? How did you remember that? For example, I'm giving an example, funny example. Okay, how to remember this, guys? Babji, you are a cool guy here. I'll take you for all examples. So Babji is there, and he saw a girl in the bus stop, right? And Babji went to the girl and said, "Hey girl, can you give me your number?" Will the girl give the number? No. One chata, fadak, right? So the thing is, okay, so after some time, let's say worst to worst case, if Babji is requesting a lot, will she tell her name at least? Yes, at least she will tell the name, right? So that is because, remember guys, no number concept. Number, remember, if you put number, fadak, right? So no number concept, only name. So Amazon resource name, not number. No more numbers here. Okay. So because I see many people have put the wrong answers, even though you know the answers here, right? No number, only name. Remember. So whenever you get this question ARN, so that example you should get it in your mind. No number, only name. If you understand, take it. If you don't understand, don't take it. Okay. Just like Riya sir, no, okay. Yeah. Ardhame lekunte kshaminchu. Anyways, so is that clear on the groups and policies and permissions, everyone? Before we'll go to the next important topic. Okay, important guys. Use of ARN. If you want to identify, in ARNs will be mostly used. Oh, his IM is done now. Why Spandana? Why? Enduku? IM is not done yet. You want me to finish it off? Okay, there is two. Yeah, no, new topic in IM itself. Yeah, no, guys, no. Yeah, so uses of ARN. Someone was using of uses of ARN. So, guys, if you want to write a policy, you need to identify a resource, right? How do you identify using this ARN? ARNs will be used mostly to use it in the policies to write the permissions and policies in JSON, right? So that is the use of ARN. Mostly uses in the policy. Yeah, guys. So now next topic here in IAM is we call it as roles. Any certain limit to add IAM users to the group? There will be a soft limit, definitely. I don't remember, but there will be a soft limit for sure. Yeah, guys. IAM roles. What is this IAM role? Very important topic. I'll just put it. What is the role here? Role meaning. Yes. Yes, answer me here. Answer me here. Is it possible to access AWS without credentials in general? Without credentials, how do we access AWS? Yeah. No, not at all. Not at all. Right? We cannot access. Either you should have username and password, either you should have username and password, either you should have keys. Yes? Otherwise you cannot do that. You cannot access it. But you can access AWS services without credentials using the concept of roles. Using the concept of role. So what is a roles? I could have written roles. Yeah. What is a role, guys? Temporary access without credentials. You are giving access to the AWS without credentials. How? Interesting, right? Let me give an example. So here, let me take one EC2 instance. Okay. This is EC2 instance. EC2 instance. I'll take it Linux. Okay. Okay, guys. Now, in order to, okay, this is a Linux machine. How do Linux machine is console or CLI? How do you access AWS services from the Linux? Is it CLI or console? Everyone knows that this is a CLI. Okay. So the CLI is a software that we need to install. Okay, we have the CLI here. Okay. How do you now from this EC2 instance, guys, from this EC2 instance, I need to access S3. From this EC2 instance, I need to access S3. I have logged into this EC2 instance. Guys, I have logged into this EC2 instance and I'm in my EC2 instance, and from here using CLI, I need to access S3 to create buckets or something. How do you authenticate to access S3 here from CLI? Excellent. We need to configure what? We need to configure keys here. We need to configure keys. Very good, guys. We need to configure the keys. Once you configure the keys, from here you can access AWS service. Not only S3, you can access any AWS services because keys are authenticated here. Guys, here, is it recommended to configure or set up these keys on this machine here, because the keys will be stored on the local machine on this EC2 instance? Is that safe? Is that safe to configure keys on this machine? No, it is not safe. It is not at all safe. We should not configure the keys here. we should not configure the keys on the machine. Okay, if you don't configure the keys, you cannot access S3. If you configure the keys, it is danger. That means it is not safe. Then how do I access S3 from my machine? Then here the concept of roles will come into picture. So here in IAM we have a concept called roles. You create a role, guys. We can go and create a role. We create a role. I'll create a role called, for example, Pradeep is logging into it. So I'll create Pradeep role something. And I'll create a role name called Pradeep role. And here I will attach what kind of services that the user want to access from this EC2 instance. What kind of services that you want to access now at the moment? S3 only, na? Yeah. And for this role, you attach S3 policy. And the role has what kind of policy now? S3 policy. And guys, and you attach this role to this EC2 instance. If you attach this role to this EC2 instance and without configuring the keys, as the role is attached to the EC2 instance, as the role has S3 policy, if someone has logged into the EC2 instance without configuring the keys, as the role is attached, he can access S3. That is the concept of role. Anytime you can attach, anytime you can detach the role to the EC2 instance. You can attach it or you can detach it anytime. Getting it, guys? Getting it here? People will usually get confused here. Guys, how do I log into this machine? Now Pradeep role directly access S3. Role will not access. Role is just a permission. So whoever is logged into this EC2 instance, role is attached to the EC2 instance. And whoever is logged into the EC2 instance, they will access S3. Pradeep role is just a role, which we can give it to, it's like a weapon. Give it to this guy and then he can use it. Guys, people will get usually confused. How do I log into the EC2 instance? Guys, in general, if you want to log into any machine, can you tell me what are the things that you need? If you want to log into a server, what are the things that you need to log in? You need to have instance IP, right? Instance IP, you need to have it. Instance username, you need to have it. And instance password, you need to have it. Okay. Can you log in to this EC2 instance using IAM username and password? Yes or no? Oi. This is the confusion people will have it, and you also had the same confusion. Guys, IAM username and password is only to access or log into AWS services, AWS console, right? IAM user is used to log into AWS console, not the servers. For EC2 instance, you will have, every server will have its own username and password. Okay. Okay. I know. That's the reason why I try to put it here. Keep this in mind that IAM users is used to log into AWS console, not servers. Not servers. Okay? You got that? IAM users, you will be logging to the, okay, now guys, you tell me, oi, you have root account with you, email ID and password. And in future, when you launch an EC2 instance, if you want to log into the EC2 instance, will you use your email ID and password to log into the EC2 instance? No, no. That's the same thing I'm saying here. Right? For that EC2 instance, AWS will give you a separate username and password. Separate username and password. Right? Yes. Nice. We are going slow. See here. Let me write this here. Guys. if you don't configure, I am user able to launch the EC2 instance, but not allow. Yes, very right, Prasad. So if you don't configure keys on Linux machine, you cannot access AWS services. Yes or no? You cannot access AWS services from there. Okay. If you configure the keys, if you configure the keys on Linux machine, keys are stored locally on the machine, which is not safe. Yes, because it might be hacked. Someone has logged into the EC2 instance and he can easily see your keys. I know where the keys are stored. We will see when we talk about CLI section, right? Okay, so let me also write few things here. So guys, for that, if we use the roles concept, we no need to configure keys on the machine. Agree? You no need to configure the keys on the machine, guys. Yes or no? And what kind of permissions that user will have when he log into the machine? Based on the permissions that you have attached to the role. What kind of permissions that you have attached to the role? Those permissions are available from the machine, from the EC2 instance. And one EC2 instance can have how many roles attached? How many, guys? One EC2 instance can have only how many roles attached at the same time? One. Only one. And can you tell me, one role can be attached to multiple EC2 instances? I put it to everyone. Somehow it got changed. Yeah, now you tell me. Guys, so one role can be attached to multiple EC2 instances at the same time? Yeah, possible. Role can be attached to multiple EC2 instances, but anytime one EC2 instance can have only one role attached. So one role can be attached to multiple EC2 instances at the same time. Guys, you understood the concept of roles? Should I give one more example? I'll give one more example, real-time example, so that you'll even more understand. See. So let's say this is my another EC2 instance. Okay, guys, now EC2 instance will have some application hosted. Yes, maybe your Java or Python, whatever. Okay, now guys, developers here, tell me, your application which is hosted on the EC2 instance, definitely your application, there will be a chance to access S3 to put some data over there. There will be this kind of requirement? Definitely yes, right? Definitely there will be a chance that, application should write some data to S3, or application should go and talk to RDS, or application should have some access to some AWS services. For that, will you configure the keys on the local machine? This application? No, we don't. Or will you create an IAM user for application so that he can access S3? No. So what is the concept that you should use it here? You rightly said role. And what kind of permissions I should have it here? S3, and then attach it to the EC2 instance. Whenever you attach this role to the EC2 instance, and now application will have whatever you have it on the EC2 instance will have access to the S3 services based on the policies that we have given. Okay, now still clear, right? Okay. Good. I'm happy. Okay, guys. And next, we have a topic where we will discuss. But guys, remember one thing here. Remember one thing. There will be few topics that I don't believe we will discuss deeper, but we cannot do practicals on it. Keep this because we don't have that kind of environments, right? There are few services. Keep this in mind. There are few services that we'll discuss, but we don't do practicals. Like this. Let me explain this to you. There is a question. With help of a role S3, we can access the application directly from EC2. Yes. Yeah. Guys, now I'll be talking about something called identity provider or federation. What is this? Identity provider or federations. So identity provider and federation. Guys, have you heard about single sign-on, SSO? Experienced people knows this. Single sign-on. Just a second. Single sign-on. Single sign-on meaning, let's give an example. Everyone knows this at least. When you're surfing on internet, when you are, and then when you go to internet, you have to log into that particular website. Instead of logging in, don't you see that there is something called login with Google, login with Facebook, login with Twitter, login with LinkedIn directly without registering it, without creating a separate credentials on that website? You will be directly using login with Google account. What is that called? With one sign in, you have sign in with Google, and with the one sign in, you will be accessing multiple services. That is called SSO, single sign on. Only one time you sign on, and then rest everything will be accessed automatically. How this will be used here? How this will be used here? Guys, whenever you join any company, what is the first thing that you will get? Don't tell me ID card, okay? You will get it here, company email ID and password. You will have your email ID and password, right? You will get your credentials. Okay. So can you tell me, with company credentials, will you log into AWS account? No. Company credentials are completely different, and your AWS credentials are completely different. So you need to have again AWS credentials, right? And using that AWS credentials, you will log in to AWS console. This is how we'll be doing it. But instead of that, instead of having AWS credentials like IAM user created, instead of that, if you are logging in to AWS console directly with your company email ID and password, that is called, without AWS credentials, that is called SSO. SSO, right? SSO. Of course, that SSO in the backend contains roles also. Yeah, SSO, single sign-on. Guys, in order to set up this, we need to have a company environment, right? Can we do this? No. Have you heard about any? Maybe people might be using something called Okta. Okta. Have you heard about this? Okta, single sign-on. Experienced people, right? So you might have, Lipsam, you're good. So you might have heard about Okta, or there are different kind of single sign-on providers will be there. Yes, Oracle single sign-on will be there. Many, right? So here you need to, this single sign-on with AWS, guys, with company credentials, you need to single sign-on to AWS. We are working on the AWS side. But in order to set up this SSO, the work is the combination between your company administrator and then AWS guy. Yes or no? You cannot directly set up this SSO on the AWS console. You should have there should be some handshake happening between your company administrator, company servers, and then AWS console. That's the reason why I said there are few services that we discuss, but we cannot do, unfortunately, the practicals. But we don't leave that topics at all. Guys, in order to give this little bit more information, very important topic. See here. This, let's say this is your company. This is a company. Okay. This is your company. Now, company will have so many desktops, right? Anywhere you can go and see there are so many desktops will be there. So many desktops will be there. I'm just putting only 3. Okay, I'm just putting only 3. That's important topic. Desktop and desktop. I just only put you have n number of desktops. Okay. Now, guys, you got your email ID and password. That meaning username and password, you got it from your company. And you walked inside this company, and now you tell me, with this email ID and password, username password, can you log into this desktop? Okay, good. With the same email ID and password, can you log into this desktop? Oh, yes. Can you log into this desktop also? Yes. How? How does each and every machine will know your username and password? How does every machine in the network in the company will know your email ID and password? Because it is in company network. I'll come to that. Yeah, Pradeep and all. Yeah. So guys, here, is it recommended? Like, okay, they think that, okay, now here, for example, Spandana, Gauss or Abdul, they are coming. They will be creating the usernames here locally on these machines. Is it good to create username locally on these machines? No. How many machines they will go and create locally here? Oh my God, you have thousands of machines in the network. You cannot go like this. Is that only one people will be logging to this desktop? No. Multiple people will be logging to this desktop. For these guys, we have a concept that most of the Windows administrators will know about this. This is called, you have a centralized server. You have a centralized server where you go and create users here. You go and create users here, centralized server. And that centralized server, we call it as, you can control these users from centralized server, and that is why we call it as domain controller. What is that called? Domain controller. Domain controller is nothing but some software should be installed, right, inside this. And what is the software that you have to install is Active Directory. What is that called? Active Directory. AD. Shortcut we call it as AD. Active Directory is a concept from Microsoft. Guys, we are not going to learn this, but Active Directory is a big ocean, right? We have a separate jobs only for Active Directory. Those who have done MCSE, they might have known about this Active Directory. So you need to set up an Active Directory, and then you need to create users in this Active Directory, guys. Okay. And now, how does these users, you have created the users here in Active Directory. How does this desktops knows your username and password? So guys, remember, all these desktops will be joined to this domain controller. Every desktop in your network, in your company, will be attached or joined to this Active Directory. Let's say now, if someone, let's say Abdul has logged into this desktop, and this desktop will talk to first domain controller. Hey, domain controller, there is a username and password called Abdul. Can you tell me? Active Directory will see there is a username and password called Abdul and Abdul123. And if those username and password are correct, then only the Abdul will be able to log into this desktop. And the username and password is incorrect, and Active Directory said, hey, username and password is that, don't allow him to log in. And you will get username password is incorrect or invalid. So who is doing the checks in the backend? Active Directory. Active Directory is a big concept, but keep this in mind. You need to set up Active Directory. You need to handle Active Directory. There is something called FSMROs. There is something called policies. Guys, I have been working on Active Directories. You need to have DNS. You need to have DHCP. Don't worry about all these topics, right? You have AD groups, all these things. But remember, our AWS has also something called, now you no need to do this manually, you no need to do setup, you no need to bang your heads. Now in AWS we have something called directory services. It's Active Directory. In AWS we call it as what? Directory services. Say this everyone. Directory services. Right? So if I ask you what is Active Directory concept in AWS, then you should say what? Directory services. Guys, you understood the Active Directory concept, the overall brief? We no need to worry on that, but overall, it's good to know. Is it clear on directory services? Okay? Nice. Okay, the last topic here in IAM is IAM tags. It's a very small one. Let's say, guys, we have a habit of to go to shopping mall, right? And then you see a nice dress or nice jacket or nice tin. Okay, instead of tin, okay, you and your friend, you and your wife, or you and your whoever it is, and they'll negotiate. And then let's say we have Babji. So Babji is going with someone to the shopping mall, and she said, Babji, can you please, shall we go to the shopping? We have seen a nice jean here. She will show the nice jean, but what does the Babji will see first? Babji will die for searching for the tag. Right? So what does this tag contains? Tell me. What does the tag contains? It contains price, which is 10,000. It contains the size, whatever it is, and it contains the brand, whatever it is, Levi or whatever. Right? So he will search for the tag. Now can you tell me here, what is the use of tag? To get the information about that particular, identity, right? To get the information about that particular product, right? Right? So here also same thing. Guys, here in AWS, we have so many resources now. There will be multiple people who will be going and creating resources in AWS. How do you identify which resources is for which team? Which resources is for which team, which resources is for which person, and which resources is for which product and which project? How do you identify? Using this tags concept. So keep this in mind. Tags are used for identification purpose. Tags are used for identification purpose. And if someone asks you what is tag, and in one shot you can say that, if I ask you what are tags, say that tags are key value pair. What's that? Key value pair. Here, what is key? Key is brand and value is Levi. So everything what you say, you can create, let's say you have created an IAM user, You have created an IAM user called Babji, right? So you can set a called Babji team is from DevOps. I can set a tag for that Babji IAM user. So you can easily identify. Just imagine you have 500 users. Is it possible to identify which user is from which team and which project? Not, right? We cannot. Right? We cannot. So here also, whenever you launch an EC2 instance, guys, see here. Whenever you launch an EC2 instance, You have hundreds of EC2 instances. Do you remember which EC2 instance for which purpose? No, na. Then you go and assign a tag. Then you go and create a tag, assign a tag called name is equal to web server. Here name is what? Name is what? Key. Value is web server. Or you can create a team is equal to whatever, guys. You can put name and web server, whatever key you want to put, you can put, whatever value you want to put, you want to put it here. Yes. So based on what you put, later you can, if you come to EC2 instance by seeing this tag, oh, this is what that, I thought what. So you can easily remember that, oh, this EC2 is for that team and that project. Make sense? Okay, now let me give a small example here, guys. So let's say, for example, I have Babji. So guys, in our account, we have 500 IAM users. How many? 500 IAM users. And these IAM users are from different teams. I'll tell. Right. So there will be different teams, right? Let's say, for example, I said there will be DevOps people, there will be HR people, there will be architects, right? There will be managers, there will be DB admins. Many people will be there in the IAM users. Now I said, Babji, go and delete all DevOps IAM users. Go and delete all DevOps IAM users. Can you tell me, guys, if you don't have tags, is it possible to identify and delete the IAM users? Very difficult, right? Very difficult. Let's say, guys, you have tags already attached. Each IAM user has a name called team, value is equal to DevOps, for example. Okay, now, and you have tags. If you have tags also, to identify each and every IAM user, he need to go and check all 500 users, yes or no? Go and click one user and see the tag, it's not there. Go to the second IAM user, he is not there. And it's very difficult. And that's why, if you are okay, I'll give you some small philosophy here. We have two types of workers in general. One is hard worker. Another one is, it's not a topic yet, I'm general saying. Another one is smart worker. Right? I'll tell you the difference between them. See, what hard worker will do is, I told you, oh my God, Riya sir told that to go and delete it. So what he do is, he'll go and manually see each and every IAM user. He will go and check 500 times. He'll go and manually and check all 500 users and delete that particular DevOps users. Right? This is called hard work. And what the smart work will do, guys, what he'll do is simply, he will write a small script. In that script, what he'll do is, delete all IAM users, where key is equal to key, value is equal to DevOps. Only once. Fasak. Right? This guy, so you can write it in, mostly people, you can write it in any language. Mostly Python. Right? You understood? So guys, why I said one of the scripting is required is this kind of work. You can do AWS without scripting, but if there is a chance, if there is a requirement that you have to do it, instead of going like this and spending a lot of time, you can write a small script and then go and delete it like this. Not only IAM users. Guys, let's say, for example, I have 100 EC2 instances. 100 EC2 instances. And 100 EC2 instances are used by DevOps, HR people and all. Now I said to Babji that, hey Babji, stop all EC2 instances. Right? Stop all EC2 instances. Who is DevOps EC2 instances. I told stop all DevOps EC2 instances. That means he need to go and check all 100 EC2 instances whether there's a DevOps tag or not. Yes or no? Why can't you write a small Python code? Remember Lambda, we can use Lambda, right? Yes, we can use Lambda. In Lambda also we need to write Python code only, right? Right. So you just write a Python code and then, hey, by the way, how do you identify whether it is DevOps EC2 instance or not? Using tags only, na? Right? Right. So write a small Python code and then put it to Lambda and trigger it, boom. And then Lambda will go and stop all the EC2 instance which has the tag called name or team is equal to DevOps. So can we say tags are also used for automation purpose? Yes? Tags are used for automation purpose. Tags are used for automation purpose. Guys, if you went and stopped an EC2 instances, that meaning did you achieve some cost optimization? Did you save some money? So can I say tags are also used for cost optimization? Tags are also used for cost optimization? Yes. And keep this Bhayanak thing that guys, tags are not only for IAM. Guys, tags are not IAM specific. It is throughout AWS. Throughout AWS, you have the tags concept. It is global. And someone was asking, so for each resource, how many tags you can create? Guys, each resource can have maximum 50 tags. How many? 50 tags. For one EC2 instance, how many tags I can create like this? Maximum 50. Maximum 50. Make sense, guys? Understood about the tags? You understood how important it is, but still tags are optional. It's not mandatory, but it's optional. If you have a big company, if you want to manage it, multiple users without tags, you will become go mad. Right? So guys, keep this in mind. IAM is a very simple topic and very straightforward. So IAM, if you take IAM service, if you take a summary, IAM service is all about IAM users, IAM groups, IAM policies, IAM roles. Right? These are the only 4 topics is all about IAM. The overall topics that we were talking since yesterday. Did we cover all these 4 topics? And we'll be doing the practicals on these 4 topics. Right? Hey, don't forget about, can you tell me, I have something called multiple guys, I have multiple root accounts. To handle multiple root accounts, what is the concept I need to use it? Now we are dealing with only one account, right? Yes. Organizations. Guys, how many root accounts we have? Creating one root account itself is difficult for you. But remember, in your companies, we cannot do this here, but in your companies, if you want to manage multiple root accounts, then you need to go the concept of organizations. Guys, how do you automate this organization? How to automate these organizations? You forgot? If you want to automate these organizations, Yes. Control tower and landing zones. So using these two concepts, you can create automatically multiple root accounts using landing zones, right? And then you can manage this. The whole concept is managed through this landing zone. And if you want to automate landing zone also, you can go for the control tower. But that's all advanced topics. Clear? Take your photos meanwhile and ask me any questions for any questions. Any doubts? Let me know once done. Guys, tomorrow is a break. Tomorrow there is no class. But please go through all these topics. But usually from next weekend you will have it for sure. But tomorrow is no class. Grammatical mistake. Tomorrow will not be there in class. Yeah. Sunday. You want Sunday? No Sunday. Guys, what happened on Monday then? Monday. We'll meet on Monday. Guys, keep this in mind. Monday to Friday, that is for normal thing. Saturday, it's depend upon, mostly will be there, but only for tomorrow will not be there. Sunday, usually no classes all the time. And we'll meet on Monday. Why I'm asking that is majority of us are working projects, so Saturdays will have maintenance activities. Yeah, but usually we'll have classes, but tomorrow we don't. Yeah. And the last slide. Done? Guys, you can, one people can take and then you can put it in the WhatsApp group. Did you have a WhatsApp group already? Are you utilizing it? Yes. Don't send good, of course. Don't send that, send these messages. Within 2 days, you will be AWS certified. Send to 10 people. Huh? Yes. Who is that? Who is in contact with me? Babji. Babji, send me a mail. I'll be sending you the material including IAM. So we are done with IAM, and from Monday we'll be jumping onto the practicals. Those who have not created the account, signed up AWS account, make sure that by this weekend you should be doing it, and from Monday we'll be doing the practicals. No excuses. I'm telling you, if you do every day I'll give the practicals task. If you do finish that task, then only by the end of the course, you will have something to take away. If you listen the topics and if you don't do the practicals, it's of no use. Doing practicals is in your hands, please. Can we go to first slide once? Okay, this is the first slide. Yeah. Yeah, no class tomorrow. Guys, can you give the final CC for today on these topics? Oh, nice smiles. So guys, that is all for today, and I'll see you on Monday with the IAM practicals. Until then, take care, bye-bye, have a nice day, and have a nice weekend too. Take care. See you on Monday. Bye.